In this episode of the Orange Nerd Show, I got Mr. Seymour Duck with me. We're talking all about Twitter, that block feature that a lot of people are upset about. We're going to break that down, talk about what's going on over there at X. We're also going to talk about Netflix earnings. They had a good earnings call. We're going to break that down. Up next, I got Mr. Seymour Duck with me in the house. Here we go. Welcome aboard to another episode of the Orange Nerd Show. On the Orange Nerd Show, we talk about everything except the theme parks. We do music video breakdowns. We do corporate talk, financial talk, studio, movies, all that good stuff. Everything except the theme parks. But before we dive into our first topic, Mr. Seymour Duck, it is always a pleasure and an honor having you on the show.
Hello, and thank you. Yes, I'm glad to be here again and nerd out with you. It's just odd not seeing George here again.
I know. George is vacationing. He's en route. But he'll be back in about a week and a couple of days. So it's not going to be that lengthy this time around, But yeah, he will be back for sure. But where can they find you on social media? I know we're talking about X later on, but we're kind of, you and I and a lot of the OG folks are kind of migrating into like different platforms. But where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on X, Threads, and Instagram at Mr. Seymour Duck. And you also can find me at Blue Sky at mrduck.social. I own that domain, so I bought it right. I saw it online. I'm like, wait, I saw duck.social for like $30,000. I'm like, no, thank you. But then I saw mrduck.social for $6. Took that, made it my username for Blue Sky, and I'm like, there we go. If I ever get banned from X because that block button, because it's illegal in Canada, I have that Blue Sky account ready to go.
That's perfect. Yeah, and you got some traction on that Blue Sky account. You're doing good. You're doing good. Yeah, a lot of people are kind of moving over there. It's kind of getting. I'm very curious how that's going to all pan out with the numbers and everything, because I know for the Apple Store, the App Store, Blue Sky is like the #1 right now, download or something like that. I mean, it's up there. People are moving.
Yeah. Threads and Blue Sky has been trending high up there, and X is like at the bottom.
People are. I'm telling you, that block feature might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, but we'll get into that in a second. But let's talk a little Netflix first. This is fascinating. So this is from Yahoo Finance. Netflix stock secures fresh record after earnings. Subscriber growth tops estimates. So it sounds like they had a pretty good earnings. It says here Netflix stock finished Friday's trading session 11% higher, pushing shares to a fresh record of above $760 after the streaming giant beat third quarter EPS and revenue estimates and projected sales for the current quarter that came in ahead of Wall Street expectations. It says here revenue beat Bloomberg consensus estimates of $9.78 billion to hit $9.83 billion in quarter three. Netflix reported after the market closed on Thursday, an increase of 15% compared to the same period last year. Now it says here, they kind of get into a little detail here where it says the growth came from the growth came as the streamer continued to lean on revenue initiatives like the crackdown on password sharing, which Disney's doing now too, right? And ad-supported tier in addition to last year's price hikes on certain subscription plans. So, Mr. Seymour Duck, what are your overall thoughts on this quarter from Netflix?
I'm actually glad that you pulled up Yahoo and not CNBC, because when I look at CNBC, they're very biased now with like the positivity with Netflix. Here, they actually give you context that it's because of crackdowns of password and ad tiers and price hikes. Where if you go on CNBC, they don't tell you any of that.
It's crazy. Yes, I've had issues with CNBC for a while because it's the way they report on, especially Disney, which is, I guess, to be expected because that's their main competitor. But yeah, they're pretty iffy. But go ahead, Seymour. I do apologize.
Oh, but yeah, I was gonna say Netflix had a great earnings, right? The revenues grew and their EPS grew. But like this article says, it's a lot of the stuff is short term based, and if before the crackdown on the password sharing, Netflix was losing subscribers, and they were losing growth, and that's my concern here. So right now it's great, but there will be a stop point because Netflix isn't only they're just a streaming company. They don't have any other businesses. They're trying to pivot into gaming, but it's not going so well. And then they're trying to give live sports. Well, the problem is they're paying extra for it. So you're not getting extra money for the content that's being on there. You're getting extra money for the their subscribers currently. But you know, they say that the ad tiers, the ad supported tiers are growing, so that's good. But like I have a concern where the growth would stop. And then while you're paying Netflix, they made $2.4 billion in net profits. And you know, a lot of people told me that Disney's last quarterly earnings was bad, but they made $2.6 billion. And people were telling me this is such a great quarter for Netflix. It's their most profitable quarter. I'm like, but then why did everyone hate? Why even CNBC were saying like, oh, Disney's last quarter was bad. How is it bad if you're comparing it with Netflix with the actual numbers? And you're paying a less multiple as well, right? If I'm looking at like the enterprise value with your EBITDA, like you're paying 33 times for Netflix compared to Disney, where with Disney's 13 times. So if you go to a lemonade stand and you know you want to make more bang for your buck, you go to the company where you spend less money to gain more money. So why would I pay more on Netflix if I gain Disney? It's very odd. I don't know. This bias for Netflix in the mainstream media, like CNBC, even on X, I don't know. It's very strange because they don't want to say the quiet things out loud. They don't want to say that, you know, Netflix is overvalued. Their growth can stop any minute. Because the last time it did, it went down like 20%.
Oh my gosh. Well, you think that it's because maybe there is like this anti-Disney fervor out there, and it's not just with like, you know, like the YouTube, community or whatever. I mean, it is that too, but I mean, it's even like you were saying, like CNBC and some of these big mainstream entities. Do you think a lot of this Netflix sort of like rose-colored glasses thing is based on like not so much being pro Netflix, but sort of like pushing an anti-Disney message in a lot of ways?
Oh, absolutely. Because one moment they're talking about Hulu being the gold standard when it's benefiting them, but then when it's talking about Netflix, they're saying that Hulu, the same person, Tom Rogers, saying, "Oh, Disney streaming services such as Hulu is not doing so great." What happened? You pivoted to a different notion on the same like points. Like, huh? Don't even get me with Tom Rogers too, because he's paid by CNBC. He used to work at NBC. Yeah, but yeah, Tom Rogers was saying Hulu's good last year, now bad this year. Yet it only improved because you know, oh, Hulu good because we need to get more money from them.
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
is this so clear? But yet, I don't know. But though I do want to say that these numbers and these growth are good. I'm not gonna lie, they're not bad, but I'm just scared that people are too positive, too hyped up that this growth can continue when a lot of the Netflix content are not even Netflix made. If all these studios pull out, there is no content to be made. Most of the money they make are from their users, not from the content. So, and for example, Squid Games, The Crown, Wednesday, all not Netflix, but they say Netflix originals. Why? Because they just have a contract with them to get the exclusive rights for a certain amount of years. Could be 10 years, could be 15 years. I remember the Marvel, Disney having a contract with Netflix for Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Iron Fist. And then Bob Chapek said, you know what? We want to cancel our contract early. We'll pay you out. Now it's all on Disney Plus. Why? Because they own the rights. They always own the rights. They just licensed it to you. Right. It's the same thing with Netflix. And I feel like that's why they're pivoting to sports, because sports is a highly profitable business, but it takes a lot of money. And if you have to spend more money now to attract users to stay on the platform, that's very concerning for me, because Disney doesn't do that. They pay a separate service, ESPN Plus. Netflix doesn't do that. They give you the sports for free. Peacock does the same thing. Sports for free, but it costs you extra money. And where's that money going to go? Your bottom line, you're going to go down in profitability. You're going to go down just to keep your subscribers. So I'm very concerned. But these are good numbers. I'm not going to lie. These are good numbers. But I mean, you're paying a higher multiple where I can just buy Disney stock instead at a lower multiple, and I feel more safe. I have a cushion.
Right. Yeah, because Disney has that flywheel we always talk about, right? They don't just do like Netflix does one thing. They're kind of a one-trick pony. And you're right.
Yep.
Netflix is sort of dipping into some other things here and there, but for the most part, they are a streamer, and that's what they are, but Disney, I mean, it's they have a streaming service, but that's just like this much of their entire bigger picture. They got a whole studio with theatrical. They have theme parks and cruise lines and just a multitude of things. And it's And that's the beauty of Disney, really, where or companies, even like honestly, even like Comcast, right? They kind of have a flywheel too now, where we saw it during the pandemic when things were all shut down. They had their streaming service to like bolster it up. And then when things reopened, now the theme park stuff was sort of bolstering up the company because the studio was kind of lagging for a while there. This is how it kind of ebbs and flows, and it works really well. And that's why I think companies like Disney have lasted so long, because they have diversified like that. Like Netflix, look, one day you're riding high. I mean, remember Redbox? Remember Redbox? I used to use Redbox all the time. Redbox took over from Blockbuster. It really kind of destroyed.
Hell, even look at Blockbuster.
Right, and see what happened. So yeah, they took Blockbuster out, and Blockbuster went down, and then Redbox was like the new thing, right? And now Redbox is out, right? I feel like Netflix has the potential of kind of becoming that thing. And you're right, a lot of stuff that they're growing from, like the password crackdowns, that's like a very short term thing, though. Like you can't sustain that forever. Eventually the growth from that is gonna wane. So I agree with you. We'll see how it shakes out. Go ahead, Seymour.
And for me, Netflix has the first advantage. So they were like the main top dog streaming service to first come out and be mainstream about it. And I've seen a lot of companies who do that first, but then when they don't innovate outside from what they were good at, they go down. And it reminds me of BlackBerry, how they were like the smartphone business of the world before Apple came in and disrupted everything. Right. And I feel like, Netflix destroyed Blockbuster, but people can destroy Netflix. And especially like I mentioned before, when majority of their content, I think it's like 80 to 90% of their content is from other studios. When you're watching Prison Break, Lost, it's not by Netflix, it's by Disney. Right. You're giving Disney money.
Exactly. A lot of that stuff on there, yeah, it's probably from Disney or Warner Brothers, or you just pick a studio, basically. You know,
like even Super Mario Brothers, which is owned by Universal Illumination, right? It was on Peacock, but then also they're like, oh, we need to squeeze a little bit more money, and it was on the movie charts for so many months on Netflix. But it's like, yeah, you're giving money again for Universal.
Right, exactly. It's interesting, man. It's really interesting to see how this whole thing kind of goes. But yeah, good quarter for now. Good quarter right now. Short term, very good. Very curious. We'll keep an eye on it. Maybe next quarter we'll do another show on it and kind of see where it's headed. Because I would agree with you. I think that short term, it's great, but long term, how does this company look? So
yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say, and it's odd, the bias at CNBC. I saw them talking about how we should be investing in Netflix stock because the stock price is going up.
Isn't it buy low, sell high? I thought that.
Yeah, I know exactly. But they have clients and stuff, and they need to tell them, oh, everyone buy Netflix because it's going up. If it's already up 10%, why would I want to go up? Or why would I want to buy now? Why would I want to buy something that's down 40% while the numbers are actually growing? Like Disney, that's what I want. I want their profitability to go up. Disney's profitability went up 600% last quarter. Okay, and their stock still went down. Now I want to buy that. Buy low, but when the numbers make sense.
Right. Well, and that's the thing too. And I think you posted a graph actually on Twitter like a week ago or so, where there was this narrative out there that Disney has been failing. But you had a graph that was showing year after year. Except the pandemic, obviously, the numbers were bad for the pandy. I mean, the numbers were bad for everything during the pandy, But ever since the pandy, we came out of the pandemic, Disney's numbers year over year have been improving. So this whole thing about Disney go woke, go broke, or Disney's collapsing, or Disney's really failing, it's like, I mean, at least from the number standpoint, where is that? And not only are they year over year, but look at, they did have a weak year last year with their studio, but this year they're not. I mean, Moana 2 is going to be an absolute mega hit. Okay, I don't care. I mean, it's going to be huge. Deadpool was already a huge hit. Inside Out 2 was an insane hit. They're having a banger year this year. So how is Disney circling the drain that there's so many people that are claiming that? Go ahead, Seymour.
Oh, I was just going to say, for context, a lot of people were fighting me on those numbers. And when I was talking about how like the consumer hasn't lessened their spending at Disney, it has been only going up year over year. The only time it ever went down was COVID because the parks were down, so the revenue numbers were down. But even now, the numbers exceeded any numbers before 2019 when Disney was at its peaks with its parks and movies. It went from like 60 billion to now 90 billion. That's $30 billion. People are spending more money on Disney. And people are telling me, but it's not profitability. I'm like, was I talking about profits? I was talking about consumers spending money. And I keep trying to tell them, like, the notion that people don't spend money at Disney is not true, because now you're making $30 billion more from the consumers. Where are you getting that money if people are boycotting Disney Plus, not going to the parks? And I see an article every day that the parks are empty. Where are they getting their money from?
Well, the parks are empty. People don't spend money at Disney parks. Yet I also see articles every month or every couple months about how people are going into debt just to have that Disney experience. Like, I don't understand. I mean, we actually just did a video on that. There's a whole article recently about how, I think it was actually a CNBC article, actually, to be honest, how people are going into debt just to have that Disney vacation. Well, wait a minute. I thought there was this, people are tired of Disney. I thought they weren't going on vacation at Disney anymore. They're not interested. Well, okay, you don't go into debt for something you're not interested in. And it seems like quite a few people are doing that. So clearly the brand is alive and well. But yeah, it's interesting. The narratives out there, I tell you, man, it's so different from the reality on the ground. And it kind of just blows my mind. I mean, I'm at the parks all the time, I'm there like once a month, I guess compared to a normie, I'm there quite a bit. They're busy. It's no more dead, at least out here in California. Florida's a whole different thing. I haven't been to Florida in over a year, but in California, the parks are busy. It seems like normal crowds to me. I don't see this whole thing where like everyone's, refusing to give Disney their money and they're all going to Universal. I mean, Universal's busy too. They're both busy, so I don't know.
It's
we'll see.
Six Flags, so
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, I just don't.
Sorry, I just want to say, though, there's one thing. I'm excited for their next earnings for Disney. A little tease, because this report didn't have majority of the movies that made over $1 billion. So we don't get to see that until this quarter, the next earnings report. And when Disney made $2.6 billion and those movies weren't included, that's pretty impressive. Because what's happening is you're now seeing that the streaming costs went down tremendously. They're looking for quality, not quantity. And because of that, and the profitability now for their streaming services, you're starting to realize their service is becoming like what Netflix did, because it took Netflix many, many years, a lot of investments to make that profitability. Once you got your users, you slowly, hike the prices on the streaming services to the point where it's like, okay, now it's good enough and the cost goes down that, you're now making money. And you're going to see that. It's at 2.6 billion without the movies. Now we get the movies. I'll be surprised, very surprised with their next earnings, because people are thinking it's going to be bad because the parks are, lessening. But yet, I believe it's actually going to go more up.
Fascinating. And when does that call? I think it's like early November, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to do a show on that.
I think it's on a Wednesday or Thursday. I have to look at the date. But yeah, I'm actually going to take a vacation that day just to look at the numbers and stuff.
Awesome.
Pay me while I look at Disney numbers.
Yeah. No, I'm down, and we'll do a whole show on that. That'd be fun. I think it's going to be a crazy quarter. Like you said, a lot of the $1 billion movies weren't included in the last quarter, so this is going to be very, very interesting. And I'm curious to see else what the parks are doing. I haven't seen a pullback in the parks. Now, again, that's anecdotal. I'm eyeballing it and being there and stuff like that. I know it's not a totally accurate way to measure this stuff, but I haven't seen the pullback yet. I just haven't seen it.
That reminds me of something else as well. I haven't seen a pullback on Disney Plus numbers as well, except for India, which doesn't matter anymore because it's now owned by Reliance with a partnership with Disney in the minority. So if we take India out, every year Disney Plus has been going up. Yeah, there's no boycott in international markets or North America. They've just been going up every year. And yet I heard so many fake news on X saying that, they lost 3 million subscribers the day they took the ads out, or this video scoop of them being woke and all this other stuff. It never really happened.
Wasn't India, if I'm not mistaken, they only pay like $1 or something for Disney Plus, right? Out there?
Correct. So yeah, those users are very low. And a lot of the other companies, they don't mention those Indian numbers as well, which is very not transparent. A lot of people talk about how Netflix is transparent or their streaming numbers, because they give you data, the top 10 like weekly and quarterly, but then they give you the full data semi-annually on the streaming data for Netflix, but they don't give you the actual subscriber numbers. And actually, starting in 2025, they're not going to give you any subscriber numbers because they see the future going forward where that growth is going to stall, and they don't want to report it.
Interesting. And that's in 2025?
Yes, and I believe every company should be transparent with their data, but Netflix doesn't tell you how much they have in India. They don't tell you any of it. They don't break it down. Disney at least breaks it down from India, international, and North America.
Right. Which is good. Yeah, it's good. Well, we'll see. We will see. Yeah, Disney earnings call coming very soon. Seymour and I, and probably George as well. I don't know if he's on. No, yeah, he's not on vacation at that time, so we should be fine. So we'll definitely be doing a show on that. We're going to definitely report on that. But that brings us to our next story today, which is Twitter/X. They officially announced changes to the block feature. Quote, if your posts are set to public, accounts you have blocked will be able to view them, but they will not be able to engage, end quote. Now, look, this is horrible, okay? I've seen so many people jump ship and go to Blue Sky or just any other platform at this point because of this change in particular. And I see these people making these excuses for it. Like, well, if someone really wants to stalk your account, they can create another account and do it that way. Okay, yes, they technically could do that. But why are we trying to make it easier for these people to harass people? Like, it's stupid. Like, what? Like, okay, so yeah, technically, they could do all that work. Yes, they could. But why are we removing one step and making it even easier for this to happen? There's a lot of people on Twitter that have social media that have a lot of mental health issues and stuff like that. And people block individuals for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's really, honestly, I think it's really irresponsible for Elon to make this change. I think it's going to lead to a lot of problems. I don't even know why. I mean, I see people even who support Elon saying, what's the point of this? My theory on the point of this is it's a money game, right? So what he's going to do, he's going to limit the block feature. So now when you block somebody, they can still see your stuff, right? And then what he'll do in like 3 or 4 months is he'll do some sort of like premium thing, right? Like if you're like a blue check or something, then you get the full block, right? And the full block is the block that we had before. So you're paying for the block feature we had before. I think this is all setting. I think this is moves in the direction of setting that up, where it's all about upcharging an actual block. Well, I'm done with it. I'm seriously done with it. I put my account on protected mode. Yeah, I have accounts blocked, and they're blocked for a reason. And I'm not going to sit here and allow people to have like access to my account and all this stuff. Like, I protected mode, and I'm not even really on Twitter that much. I just use the DMs, and I'm over at other platforms, utilizing other platforms. If Elon wants to make shitty changes like this, I'm pulling back on my usage. I'm pulling back on my attention, and I'm not the only one. A lot of people seem to be doing that, but Seymour, what are your thoughts on this? They're pretty drastic change here.
That Simpsons meme where Homer's about to press a button and everyone around him says he's about to do something stupid? This is basically it.
Yeah. Oh, 1,000%, dude. I mean, I see conservatives who like Elon saying, what the hell is he doing? Go ahead. I apologize.
Oh, no. And I was just going to say, like, in Canada, it's actually illegal to do that. And I feel like this is going to be the same thing when he did with Brazil. And, he bent the knee to Brazil. So many people got angry at Brazil for free speech. And, they were fighting the good fight with X and Elon until they bent the knee, blocked everyone. Suspended everyone that Brazil wanted, right? Deleted their accounts and, paid the fine. And now everyone in Brazil can now, go on X. But then now everyone doesn't want to talk about Brazil and what happened. They act like nothing ever happened. But what? Okay. And now I feel like it might happen in Canada because it's illegal. And I feel like I might lose access. So I have Blue Sky now. You can find me there if I ever lose access. I posted the username on my profile, but I feel like that's what's going to happen, and they're going to fight Canada, and then soon they're going to fight the UK, and they're going to fight the EU, and then sooner or later he's going to bring it back and said, "Look, we need to bring it back for countries that allow it," because he's going to bend to knee when it becomes an issue with countries and money. He can't afford it.
No. I mean, you were talking about. Well, I remember in a video not too long ago where you were predicting like maybe in 2025 the shit's really going to hit the fan with X. So if he's going to do this thing and it's going to be, it's going to cause problems with accessing X in various countries. This platform is done. He can't. You're right. Yeah. They can't. It can't. It's not sustainable. And I mean, even if the other countries don't give him any problems, which they will, almost certainly. But let's just say hypothetical, they don't. I've seen so many people just jumping ship already. They're done with it. I mean, Blue Sky is one of the top downloads right now in the App Store. Why do you think that is? It's largely because of this block feature. People do not want this. And I just don't understand it. Maybe it's an engagement thing. Maybe he wants tweets to be seen.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that like he needs better engagement, and the ads show up, so people are gonna talk more. But I'm like, that's not good. It's not good for safety for people. Especially not good for children, right? You only have to be 13 to sign up for the platform. But now if you have people, very creepy people online stalking children, you can now do it if they blocked you. That's not right. Like in the EU, that's illegal. You need that block feature in EU for child safety, especially because you don't want that in there, right? What if they're known, like they have a known record, and you're 13 years old and your parents, like, you have to block this person because this person lives near your neighborhood, but now they're going to stalk you on social media to find out what you're doing. That's not good. Man, it is not really good, especially, and it works the other way around where, like, I know a lot of 18 plus accounts been blocking children so they don't look at the porn they provide on that platform because, that's part of their terms of service now. They allow porn, but now children can go on it. And then I hear excuses like, well, don't let children on your platform, blame the parents. I'm like, well, good luck with that. And secondly, they're allowing it on their platform to be 13. If you didn't want children on the platform, just raise it up to 18. Put ID identification. Do something about it if you actually care about the children. But they don't. They went to court with like all the other social media companies, right? TikTok and like Mark Zuckerberg. And then the courts were grilling Mark Zuckerberg. But yeah, Linda, they didn't care about anything about Linda. They didn't talk about what she wanted to do to provide. She just kept saying, yeah, we'll do child safety. And then we get this BS coming out of nowhere. This is not child safety.
No.
You're not helping anyone. And you should be your number one priority. It's child safety. And that pisses me off because for years we heard that Meta is bad, it's bad for children and all this stuff. Yet they have the tool set and they've been providing the money. X can't provide the money, let alone they can't even provide their moderation. It's complete bullshit. They use users to provide the moderation, and most of the time it's biased to the people who's looking at it. It's not about the truth. The whole platform is BS. The whole thing is stupid. I'm pissed about this whole thing.
Oh no, me too, Seymour. 100%. We've been talking a lot about this where there's like zero moderation. Zero. I mean, they're basically, well, Elon will come out there and say it's because of freedom of speech, rah, rah, rah. It's not about freedom of speech. It's about saving money and cutting the whole team that moderates stuff. That's what that's really about. It's a money-saving thing. So you cut the moderation team to basically nothing. The moderation on this platform is a fucking joke right now. And now you're going to make changes to the block feature where people that you block can see your shit. So you're not even policing the site. And now you're making it easier for people to stalk. It's such a mess, dude. I mean, he has taken this app down. I am telling you right now, Seymour, you might be onto something when you say that, like, in 2025, this might be the end of Twitter. It might be. I think I see so many people leaving this website, this app, and going to Blue Sky and other places. They don't want to deal with this. Blue Sky, even Threads. I think even Threads was on like the top 1 or 2 downloads in the App Store, right? Come on. And Threads hasn't been in the actual like conversation for a long time. So this shows you this is a bad decision. And like I said before, I even see people who are more on the conservative side who might really agree with Elon on a lot, even saying, why is he doing this? This is stupid. This is really, really stupid. So this is going to cost him. But
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of a coward, So what he'll do is he'll come out here, and do the whole thing, and then he'll backpedal like he did with Brazil.
Yeah, he backpedals a lot with a lot of the things. Like X was supposed to premium was not supposed to be $8. It's supposed to be like $22. But people are like, I will never pay for that. And then he backpedals a lot. I'm afraid though that if this goes well in his perspective, that he might actually remove the mute feature as well. And so that you have to be forcing to see the content you don't want to see. And I'm scared for that because that's the next step, right? He needs that money. So like to a certain point of the block, you need some money. So I don't know. The only reason I stay on X is because there's good people there. Good people that likes the things I like. Disney, Nintendo, investing, especially investing. There's no other platform that I have that smart people in investing. And people, I talk to that think like me while I invest. And they're on X, and they also have the problem with X. Today I saw a friend on X who told me, like, take all these mute words and put it on your platform and you can get all the political stuff out, because I muted Elon Musk every day, every week, and I still see his bullshit political posts rammed down my throat, and I don't want that. I just want to see the stuff I care about. I'm not an American. I'm a Canadian, and I don't even get Canadian political news. I get donates now to this cause, and we'll give you $1 million. He's giving $1 million to every day now, apparently, if you get to sign up his website. And I'm just like tired. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not American. So I had a friend who told me to use the muted words so that everything it won't show up. But I'm afraid that he's going to take that out too, so that I'm forced to see everything.
Yeah, no, it's bullshit. And then, this guy, he's going out there giving random individuals $1 million. Meanwhile, didn't he lay a bunch of people off?
Yeah, he laid off 10%. And then the next day he got voted in to get his $50 billion that the court decided to take away. It's a bunch of BS.
You can't pay your employees, you can't keep your employees, but you can give random people $1 million a day. Okay, that makes sense.
Complete BS, because he said this platform was going to be like, centric. It was going to be the town square for everyone, right? And he even said that the mainstream media is lying. I'm not donating to Trump and all this other stuff. And you know who's lying? Him. The X has become the mainstream media. It's become the very thing that everyone hated. And now I hate mainstream media, and now I hate X.
Well, you're right. Okay, that's a great point. A lot of times people become the monster they're fighting against. This happens often, right? And I feel like with a lot of this stuff, like with Elon and what have you, these were the people that were complaining about all the bias with the left-wing media. And now they're rooting on left-wing media. And then Elon has the nerve to sit there and complain about California restricting the SpaceX launches, right? Oh, California's getting political. Well, you and a lot of people on the right certainly didn't give a shit about, getting political when Ron DeSantis waged his war against the Mouse House. Then it was fine. See, that's why, even though your side's doing it, you should call it out, because it's a slippery slope and it leads to everyone fucking doing it. So you don't like it because Gavin's doing it to you now, Elon? What did you say when Ron DeSantis was doing it to Disney? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it's crazy. So like you said, Seymour, they've become the thing they were fighting against. 100%. 100%. So we'll see what all shakes out. Go ahead.
Yeah, just adding to that. Like, it's stupid. Fox got sued for the things that Tucker Carlson said on the station, right? And he got fired for it. And now he's doing the exact same thing that he got sued on X, but yet nobody seems to have an issue with it. And then you have Don Lemon, who's supposed to have a contract with Elon and X, but then apparently that contract went away after he gave him the hard-hitting questions. This platform has become it's basically Truth Social, and I'm not liking it because I am Canadian, and a lot of the things that I'm seeing has nothing to do with me. I don't know what you should have moderation. There's lack of moderation. The algorithm is pivoting to one thing purposely. And one time I posted on X, I saw back-to-back political posts from Elon Musk, 3 of them, all together. As soon as I open X, I'm like, what the hell? I muted you. Why are you showing up?
Could you imagine, Seymour, just hypothetical, right? Let's just imagine that Bob Iger never came back to Disney, right? Let's pretend he never came back to Disney. Let's say he decided he was going to go in and buy Twitter, right? So instead of Elon owning it, it's Bob Iger. Private company now, he owns Twitter. Could you imagine the outrage if this was Bob Iger, but in doing what Elon is doing right now, but for the left? With all these political ads, we're not going to allow you to block people. Well, you can block people, but you're still going to see our posts, right? Could you imagine getting in bed with the Democrats or whether Kamala, whatever, getting in bed like how Elon is with Trump, right? I mean, you would never hear the end of it, but for some reason, it's fine when Elon does it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm telling you, if this was Bob Iger campaigning for Kamala while owning Twitter, you mean to tell me the same people rooting for Elon wouldn't have a problem with that? I'm sure they would. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And it shouldn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on. You should call this, people should call this BS out. You know what I'm saying? And it's absolute BS. Elon is completely abusing his power, in my opinion, completely abusing it. Go ahead, Simon.
Oh, definitely he's abusing it. I see people posting community notes, and they have to take screenshots of what Elon's saying, and it's lying, it's not truthful, or he's like, oh, I'm half-assing it, where he believes it's true, but I didn't say it was the lie, it was the person who said it. So when I shared it, I thought it was the truth. And then, but then mysteriously those community notes get deleted. So then people post it over and over again, like, what's happening here? And then I see a lot of people, trying to tell their users, oh, downvote these community notes so that it gets removed. Like, huh? Like, none of this is, they don't care about the truth on this platform anymore. It's about caring about the truth that you believe in. And I don't like that, because I didn't like Twitter before, and now this is far worse than it was, and it's a mess, especially with the bot problems and all the spam and everything. And, Twitter before at least had money. They were actually profitable. Now they're just down the drain, going to basically, I think, either he has to sell a lot of shares or he's going to sell it to someone else. And yeah, I don't think the platform is going to stay.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's circling the drain. I think it's going to be either bought up, he's going to be forced to sell it, or just shuts down completely, or something like that. I tend to lean towards someone else buying it. I feel like it'll be saved as a platform, but some company will come up and swoop in and get it, which, at least with a company, there's corruption in corporations. I'm not saying there's not, but at least there's a little bit of a check and balance with that, because there's a board of directors. There's other people kind of like checking the power, right, of the decision-making process, where with Elon, it's a privately owned thing. So he can willy-nilly oh, well, I don't like this. So it feels so personal, these decisions. It doesn't feel rooted in what's best for the platform. It's like Elon's personal vendetta, or well, this affects me, so I'm going to make this whole change for everybody on this platform because it benefits Elon. And it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. I wish a company would just buy it, I really
do. 2 things I just want to state. First, Disney almost bought Twitter.
Yep.
Funny enough. But then Bob Iger pulled out because I don't think they were ready, and I don't think they weren't. It would have been a mess if they bought Twitter.
Yeah.
And secondly, I always thought, if you actually cared about free speech, you wouldn't have bought Twitter. You would have started your own platform and not focus on ads and profitability, because now, you make all the stuff that's happening on X to benefit you. And you're desperate for cash, and now you have to do all these weird things on there where nobody wants, like the block feature, just to gain that cash back. Jack Dorsey, before he left, he had Blue Sky. He actually, that was, he was created on Twitter, the beacon in Twitter, and then he spun it off. They don't focus on profitability. They don't focus on money or ads. It's free, and that's what I like about it. Right? And there's a bit of moderation there, a little bit, but you can create your own moderation. You can create your own list of people you don't want. Everything's on there, right? You can do your own thing in the flexibility. I like it. But the main thing is that it's not owned by anyone. There is no money to be made, and that's what I like about free speech, because it's now the content I want to see on my terms and not what Elon's terms, because that's what apparently is what I'm seeing. The algorithm is pivoting to what he likes and not what I like. I go on, even if I go on Threads, right? The algorithm shows all these YouTubers. I'm like, what? I don't see this on X, but yet they're active on X. Then I see them on Threads. I see a lot of people, journalist people I've never seen before, and it's like, what? But I follow you, I read you all the time, but I have to go out of my way to do it. All these YouTubers, like, I don't see them anymore. The Instagram followers, right? They're on X, but I don't see them. And the algorithm actually works, and I like it. On X, it is broken. It's not there anymore for me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. That's why I don't really go on it that much. I just go on there to DM you guys, you know, but I don't really tweet anymore. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I hate the changes he's enacted. It's the block feature was really the straw that broke the camel back for me. But like, I've been unhappy with X for a while now. It's been the thing with X is it's so stupid. Like, he focuses on the dumbest stuff that nobody asks for. Like, nobody wants any of this stuff. Like, hire your moderation team back.
He can't afford it. He can't afford any of it. He tries to make it seem like, I saved a lot of money on this company, so we're going to be profitable. Yet, you know, we see articles, or we talked about it before, where like they're down 50-40% in revenue. And, you know, it's the worst quarter for Twitter, and you have less employees and you have less overhead and still making less money. The advertisers don't want to be here. Nobody wants to be here. And you're supposed to be a platform that's worldwide. And it feels like it's very one-sided and an American side, unfortunately. You know, yeah. I try to follow a lot of Japanese people now on X too, and I don't get that as much. I go on Threads, I go on Instagram, I see it more often. I'm like, where did all these Japanese accounts come from? Right? On X, I don't get it. I have to manually follow them and find it, and so that it can go in my feed, right? My follow feed. On my For You page, the algorithm doesn't want to do it.
No, it doesn't. Even I've been following a lot of Japanese Disney accounts for a while now, for years and years and years on Twitter. And I used to see their stuff all the time on my timeline, and I don't anymore. And it's not because they're not posting, because a lot of these accounts are cosplay accounts and they're active right now because of Halloween. I don't see any of it. It's all political bullshit. All of it. That's all I see in my timeline is all political. You know what I'm saying? And oh God, it's frustrating because it's a great platform. It has so much potential, and he's completely kneecapping this. And yeah, 2025 might be the year, Seymour. You might be onto something, brother. You might be onto something. So we'll see.
So I do want to state something.
Sure.
All right. For me, I don't mind if you like the left or the right or what your politics are. It's just that if you're trying to ram it down my feed when I don't really care for it, I'm like, why?
Well, yeah, and even Elon, there's a tweet before he bought Twitter saying that in order for the people to trust the platform, there needs to be political neutrality. Well, what happened to that? This was Elon's own tweet from like a few years ago. This isn't political neutrality, Elon, when you get on stage and you are campaigning with Donald Trump. And again, there's nothing, look, you can be conservative. There's not, you know, you want to be conservative, be conservative. You can be a liberal, you can be progressive, whatever. That's your prerogative. But when you own Twitter, the global town square, and you make a tweet a few years ago saying you need to be neutral politically, and it was bad when Jack Dorsey did it, and he was so political, and you go and you buy Twitter, and you're like political times 10. There's a problem with this. It's crazy, you know?
I wouldn't trust Elon because he had posts before his breakup with his ex about how DEI is great, diversity and inclusion was great, showing posts from the gay pride parade, and then a few months later, woke mind virus. So I will not trust Elon what he has to say because he flip-flops whatever benefits him. He doesn't care what the actual cause is.
Yeah, well said, Seymour. Well said. Seymour, fantastic conversation. Very interesting stuff here with Twitter. We'll keep an eye on the Twitter situation for sure, because I think there's a lot more to come down the pipeline with this, because this is a total mess. But Seymour, if you could remind everybody at home where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, you can find me on X, Instagram, Threads at Mr. Seymour Duck, or Blue Sky. I'm testing it out for now. You never know. I might be banned from X because Canada doesn't allow it. It's illegal. So you can find me on Blue Sky at MrDuck.social.
There we go. Actually, speaking of banned on X, our friend Josh from Den of Nerds. I love that guy, man. And they suspended his Twitter account.
Yeah, they suspended his Twitter account because he was showing a Disney movie.
Oh, that's why? I didn't know that's what they're... Oh, dang, dude. Of course it's a Disney movie.
Ironically, because when it's about money, they do something about it. They, when the ads came out, they were always, Elon Musk would, get angry and yell and swear. But then when it comes to money, right, it's like, oh, Disney comes in or the MPAA. One of them came in and said, hey, you need to suspend him now. He's showing content that, that we own. You don't want to get sued. And then he took it down, suspended the account. That's the only time that ever happens when it's regard to money, and you have a little bit of fame in there so that people notice that it's about money. If you're a small account, nobody cares. But if you're getting attraction, I remember the Super Mario Brothers movie there. It was there for 4 days because they didn't have any moderation until the account got suspended. 4 days, and it got over 90 million views. Like, what the hell is that, man? The full Super Mario Brothers movie leaked before it came on digital? That's crazy. Because they don't have any moderation, they can't pay for it. And I'm 100% sure that the company, MPAA, came in and said, we're going to sue you if you don't do something about it now. And then, they finally did it and took it off and suspended. But that's probably what happened with Josh as well. They're just like, you want to get sued or suspend him. It's about free speech unless it's about money.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. It's about free speech unless it's about money. Just like the whole Brazil thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy. But you know what? Honestly, for Josh, probably a blessing in disguise. Twitter is not a great platform. It's very toxic, very ugly on there, and kind of forcing. It sucks to get suspended at any time, but at least it cut it off for him. He's like, I'm done. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's a benefit, like a silver lining. Like it's cold turkey now. I'm done with that, and it's probably for the better anyway because the platform isn't that great anymore. So
yeah, but I was joking to him to say, join Threads. James Gunn is there more often. You can make fun of him over there.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people, especially in the studios. Even though Threads doesn't get that much attraction, they post a lot more on Threads than on X, and more personally too. And even John, the YouTube channel, John Campia. Right, he posts on Instagram and Threads all the time, but he doesn't have an account on X. He doesn't care for it.
He got rid of it. Like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I think he deactivated his account. Yeah, and because it was weird because I'm a fan of Campia's, but I didn't realize he deleted his Twitter account. And like a year ago or so or something like that, I was like, what happened to John Campia? I never see his tweets anymore, and I couldn't find him. And apparently he deactivated. I'm like, okay, good for him. And honestly, I've talked to a lot of big YouTubers, and there's very little crossover anyway with Twitter and YouTube. Like I've heard of a lot of big YouTubers say that where like I've deleted my Twitter account and it made no impact on my YouTube numbers at all. It doesn't even matter. It didn't make any kind of impact at all. So there's not even like a benefit to having it. It's just pure drama. So just delete it, like basically, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like this close to just getting rid of it. The only reason I don't is because I don't want my handle to be sold to somebody else, but like I probably just won't use it because it's there's no real gain from it,
Yeah, for me it's just the friends I made along the way, the smart people they interact with, the things I like, those people, right? That's the only reason I'm there. I don't care for any of the features anymore or the stuff that's happening. It's just the people. And if those people come on another platform, I'll jump ship immediately.
Yeah, exactly. We got to get Earl Frankenpuppy on like Blue Sky or like Threads or something,
Yes.
He's great.
He's taking a break too on X. He's going to leave after 2024.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him. Yeah, he's fun. And our friend Bacon, he's great, So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But Seymour, good having you on as always. And yeah, if you can just remind everybody where they can find you on social media.
Oh, again, it's on X, Threads, and Instagram. You can find me at Mr. Seymour Duck, and Blue Sky once again at MrDuck.social. Best $6 I ever spent.
There he is. There he is. Make sure you follow him on all those platforms. Thank you all so much for watching. Comment down below with all your thoughts on everything we talked about today. Netflix, their earnings call, the future of Netflix, the streaming wars, Twitter, X, the block feature thing. What are your thoughts on that? We would love to hear from you. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.